telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is she? Where is she? She's telling me to come forward, come for me. See, I don't know why I finally now I just spoke my mind. I know it's not since we spoke sometime, but this thing no play, I go change your mind. Just give me some time, any place, cause I don't have no time to waste. No more back and forth just like Aaliyah. That's all I wanna do right now. Grab it up, swing on me, gonna grab it up. Body to body, make a bend up for that reeling. Bad man, turn you over like a steering. Well, when me gonna grab it up, swing on me, gonna grab it up. Body to body, make a bend up for that reeling. Bad man, turn you over like a steering. Well, telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she's telling me to come for me. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let you go. When she telling me to come forward, come for me. That's what she's telling me to come forward. No hesitation when I come forward. I won't let her go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is she? Where is she? She's telling me to come forward, come for me.
Does kill a bit.
You made the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system since move back left. You don't want to change from the 4-3.
Boom, boom, boom. What's going on, people? We're back again on the Jerry James Show. We're becoming consistent right now. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, where's this brother been? And I keep saying it. And a lot of you guys probably do. I mean, like, I know the deal. But look, we're coming consistent. We're back. Big up to everyone in the building. It's a weird day today, man. It's proper weird. Like, I'm here, you know, it's grey outside. It's overcast. You guys can probably see, like, outside my balcony. But it's hot. But the thing is, I can't put the fan on because otherwise you guys can hear it through the stream. So it's incredibly just uncomfortable right now. I hate this type of weather. Just, do you know what I mean? Let the light, let there be light, as God said, man. So yeah, man, big up to everyone in the building. Hope you're having a great afternoon and end to your day. And a lot of you guys are probably still at work. That final stretch. And if you can put on your earphones, you can enjoy this. Listen, it's going to make that stretch just go by like that, man. So big up to everyone. And look, we got another transfer hub. We got some special guests coming on as well later on. And boy, it looks like we might have a special player coming to Liverpool, man. It does look like it. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be telling me, you know, interested FC, potential FC, inquiry FC. I've heard it all. But guess what, people? This is a brother that I can even get excited for. 100%. Like, this is a brother, you know. We spoke about the statement signings of Tonali from Newcastle and, you know, Arsenal making a statement by signing Declan Rice. For me, that's right up there with this signing, man, right up there. But before we get into the nooks and crannies of it, look at the player, look at his stats, kind of discuss what type of player is he? Because I know a lot of you guys are probably more in the know than me. So I need to know from you guys, what type of player is he? Does he play on the left? Does he play on the right? And where would he fit in this Liverpool team? Before we get into that, I need to get into you guys. I need to salute you guys in the building, man. We got Anfield Road End in the building. Big up JJ. Big up to yourself. We got Talio. We got Garrett saying Talio Double J. Arsenal splashing. They about is greatly Burmishing one. Yeah, big up. We got Alexander. They lost. Big up to Alex. Hope you're doing well. Monitoring FC. See, I told you we're there, man. We're there. We got Psychedelic in the building as well. Big up to Psychedelic. We got Honesty in the building. Yuvraj as well. Big up. We got AJ as well. We got Kalonji in the building. AJ moving like a spam. What's going on, bro? Any mods in the building, let me know. Get rid of him. I don't know if he's a spammer or not, but big up to your damn self. Angel9068 saying, well, we are monitoring our first ever Hungarian player, isn't he? Potentially, bro. Potentially. I'm not even sure. Alexander Delos saying, is he a similar mold to Coutinho? That's what we're going to get into it. Yuvraj is begging FSG, please sign this guy. Sign this guy. And listen, boy, we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it. You know what? Before we do that, we might as well just look at the proper statement. This proper statement from the big boys, the sources. So I'm going to get that up for you guys, and we can read through it together, so it doesn't seem like I'm chatting nonsense, like I'm an ITK or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? It's that thing. 2 seconds. What's this? There we go. Hold on. There we go. From the main man himself, Philip Hines from Sky Sports as well, which is mad interesting, man. 2 seconds, people. There we go. Oh, yeah, and by the way, whilst we're doing that, 30 people in the building, make sure we're smashing a like, man. Make sure we're smashing a like upon entry. We don't have to get the bouncers in. Like, I know right now I'm in the gym. I weren't cutting for a while, and I do look a bit bouncerish, but we're cutting now. We're cutting. So, do you know what I mean? Summer's here, but we're cutting. So, the back end of the summer, we're looking shredded, just like the man for pre-season. But as you guys can see, let me see if I can make this a bit bigger for you guys. I know you guys are watching this on a phone and that. Philip Hines, big up. As we can see, if you guys aren't aware, he's part of the transfer update show. Philipp Hinze, I should actually say, German reporter from Sky Sports News in Germany, stating that he can confirm there's concrete LFC interest in Dominik Szoboszlai. The Athletic FC first obviously announced this. Newcastle United are also still in. Open future for the Hungarian, whose release clause is 70 million. But the exit option only runs until the 30th of June. After that, the transfer fee is freely negotiable. So, people, as we can say, the Hungarian player, man, looking real good. As we're seeing here, see, LFC meet, have interest in Dominik Szoboszlai. That's in German. A lot of reports stating, people, that Dominik Szoboszlai has actually, his representatives have met with Liverpool representatives as well. And that's a really interesting thing, because Liverpool don't start to do that unless they're really serious about a player. Now, I'm looking at it, and look, he might have not been on the cards beforehand. Maybe he was, right? But maybe the actions of Newcastle signing a Tonali, Arsenal going in for Rice, has actually forced FSG's hand to a point where they're like, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. Kalanji saying, you sound excited. I do sound excited, man. I do, because look, as fans, I think it's important to get excited. If we just hear, and the thing is, it's a player that I'm in, that excites me more than any other player that we've been linked with. So whether that's McAllister that we got over the line, really good deal, or someone else, Thuram, Kone, whoever else, this is a player that excites me. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm falling into the trap. Well, you guys are probably going to get into me. But boy, we don't know. But hey, hold on. What's going on here? What's going on here? I'm not sure. He must be happy. He's got a grin in him like this, man. Ram in the building. Big up, Ram. What are you telling me, man?
I'm good, man. It's finally some news on Liverpool, man. I was getting bored of this club. I was getting bored of nothing happening. But now, finally, we've got something we can actually chop up, JJ. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. Finally.
There we go, man. Now, look, we're talking about Szoboszlai. You're the German kind of, the main German in this thing. The main German source. Like, guys, Ram is essentially Schmatka, but we've got him here on stream. He knows all the German players. If he could, he'd be negotiating, but he's just here on our platform. So we've got a big up Ram for obviously joining us. Chat to me about Szoboszlai, man. Chat to me.
Dominik Szoboszlai. I knew about this guy when he was at RB Salzburg. Very, very, very promising player. I had a conversation with G, big up G. He might come on if we don't. Maybe he might come on. We don't know. We've had a conversation about him, and if I was to give you an exact similar kind of player that we had before, it'll be Patrick Berger. Patrick Berger is the more or less the similar player that Dominik Szoboszlai was. Very good technically, very big, very strong on the ball, and also got a power of a shot. Like his shot is, Hungarians know how to strike a ball. That's all I got to say. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this signing. If, like I said to JJ before the stream started, if we are going to move forward with Szoboszlai, we have to be using the inverted system that we're doing, because when it comes to the left-hand side, I think Curtis Jones has proven that in the final third and his play within the box, he can be a massive threat. On the right-hand side, even though Henderson does a lot of the hard work, when it comes to the offensive side of the game, even though he does occupy defenders and make those runs, he doesn't really do much when it comes to on-the-ball kind of things, making things happen. And we saw it against Aston Villa where he had time on the ball, he had moments where he could find the killer ball, and it just didn't work out. And that's why we got caught out so many times. Put Szoboszlai in there, then it's a completely different story, because he's a guy, he's very good in tight spaces and has an eye for a killer ball. Very good technically and has very good vision as well, man. So I'm looking forward to this, man. I really am. I really am looking forward to this guy. And one more added bonus. Very good at set pieces. Another person that can challenge Trent Alexander-Arnold in set pieces. We've got three people. If we do get this guy, 3 people on set pieces. Trent, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Imagine that. Just all 3 of them standing, but on a free kick, like 25 yards out.
Hold on. Who's there?
Big up, man. Big up. You know, when this is home. I'm not been here for a while.
Who's my man?
Nah, Jay, you got to run whilst I was out there doing my stuff, I've been doing niche. That is Rom's right here, man.
No, man. Sometimes life gets in the way, but this is home, man.
I've seen Rom with the tan. He's got a trim. I'm seeing him rocking Cortez. It's crazy. It's crazy. What are you telling me, Ram? What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. Lovely to chop up. Ooh, it's lovely to be with you two. Chopping up our club, you know, it's always hard work, but no, I'm here, man. I'm ready to chop up this sort of signings because it's a player I do want. It is a player I do want.
I hear you, man. Big up. So, Ram, obviously, before we get into it, I know you're talking about obviously where you could play. I don't want to hold on that because obviously we can discuss that in a bit in more depth. Before we get into it, I'm gonna obviously, before I get into this, what the people are saying in the comments, and then we're gonna obviously look at the stats of Szoboszlai. I think it's good to look at. Chat to me, Rom. Sorry, how are you feeling about this potential signing and this news that Liverpool are interested in potentially going in and either triggering the release clause for Szoboszlai or waiting until that passes in a couple of days and then trying to negotiate for him, which potentially could be a lower fee?
Do you know what? It's a player I do want, but for me, the problem with us right now is the profile just keeps changing for me, because it's like I feel we need to prioritize that more combative defensive midfielder than a Szoboszlai. I think he's more luxury at this moment in time. Do I want him? 100%. But you two know my feelings with Klopp, with technicians as well. Will we get the same Szoboszlai? I look at Ram Spider. Will we get the same Szoboszlai that we see at Leipzig, at Liverpool? Will we come more industrious? But like Ram alluded to earlier today, he does have that engine. It's not like he can't do that role. But I do feel if if the release clause that quoted is correct, I do feel we should trigger it, because with Newcastle sniffing, and let's be honest, we're the bigger club, but their project looks more appealing. They've got Champions League football. I think we do need to get this done quickly if we are serious about him, because I think because there's an interview he had, I can't remember who he was with. You two might remember the broadcasters. I think it was last year, and he was saying, they asked him, would you sacrifice Champions League football for playing with a manager that you like? And I think he mentioned Guardiola, Klopp, and Mourinho, I believe. It was them three. And he was saying, I know I've kind of asked me that, who wouldn't want to play under them three? Liverpool fans being Liverpool fans, though, we've just literally whittled it down to Klopp when he did mention two other managers. But that was quite convincing, because I read that article and he's basically saying, look, he would, if them three managers could get the best out of him, he would sacrifice a year of no Champions League football. But for me, I want to get this one done. And the more I read about it, it does seem we're serious. But if you ask me who I want first, though, out of the Thuram and Szoboszlai, I want Thuram for what we need. I think we should prioritize him more. If you ask me right now who I could get first, it would be the Thuram. But Szoboszlai I do want. I rate him. I've seen him. I don't think I've seen as much as Ram has, but I have seen a handful of games and I've liked what I've seen. He's one of them players that you always realize he's on the pitch. He never really goes missing. He always stamps his authority on the game. I like him, man. I like him.
I think the main issue with him is sometimes his availability at times is a bit, he does tend to not be available whenever, as consistently as the likes of your Dani Olmo or your Christopher Nkunku. Compared to those two players, he's not as readily available as them. But I think from this season alone, he's played more or less every single game for Leipzig, if I'm not mistaken. And like Roms has said, he hasn't, and I said this before, even though doesn't have that much of an engine, he still has a sly engine where he can still get around the pitch and do his defensive duties if necessary. But yeah, man, if I've been hearing people talking about Barella and players like that, I think if you're going for a player that is more realistic and could say arguably a little bit cheaper, Szoboszlai is the perfect kind of player that you need, man. So I'm okay with that, man. I really am.
I hear you, man.
Before you go, JJ, I don't know how true this is. I've been reading up on him all morning. Apparently, he has an attitude problem. And we already know what happened with a player that I'm quite fond of. But how true is that? Because I know you obviously watch the Bundesliga quite a lot. But I'm hearing he has a...
Ram, you got to ask Ram, bro. I don't know what the hell... I'm hearing Maddison's got an attitude problem. I'm hearing Bearman.
Yeah.
It depends, though, because it's good to have an attitude. From seeing things that I am, he's a bit like, not perfectionist, not the right word. He's a bit temperamental. When things don't go his way, he doesn't get a little bit agitated, and I kind of get it. But
that Bruno Fernandes type of agitated?
Yeah, a little bit.
What you're saying is he's gonna be yelling at Henderson all of next season,
bro. Like if he sees someone doing bullshit, he will call out the bullshit. Like he'll call out, "I'm playing shit." Now you're playing shit as well, so don't chat to me. He has a bit of a Trent streak in him. But like I said, if you get the right manager with him, and I think Klopp is the kind of guy. Like I think that could be tempered down a little bit. But from what I've seen of Leipzig is it's when he does lose his composure, he does tend to get a little bit reckless. I think he's got about a couple of red cards this season because of that. So that's just something to bear in mind. But it can be used as a good thing, man. Like, see, sometimes you need that temperamental people just to get you over that line. Like Sadio Mane was, you could argue that he was a little bit temperamental and he could get a little bit agitated very easily.
I think you need that in football, man. I think
yeah, exactly. Like JJ, Mane is the perfect example. Like he was quite prone to being that kind of player, but he had that doggedness in him to get us through games as well. So it works both ways.
100%, man. 100%. We got Alexander Day lost saying, is he a similar mold to Coutinho? People are asking.
A little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different. That's fair.
But he has that takeover in him. If you get what I mean, JJ.
Yeah. Anfield Road and then Psychedelic. Yeah, I'm going to make you mods shortly. Don't worry about that. Garrett saying Kone Turam gone very quiet. Big up to Endsman TV. Make sure we're heading over there and subscribing if we haven't already. Honesty saying Allah is great. We can go from Naby, Fab, Hendo to Turam, Mac 10 and Turam. No, I mean Szoboszlai, Mac 10 and Turam must be. You've right saying this just shows we do not know who our midfield signings are going to be. Yeah, that's what Ron was just saying now. We got to Jay Kismet as well. Psychedelic saying I'm about to watch Szoboszlai highlights like a true highlight merchant. Facts, you have to, man. You've got to.
That's the only way you can understand a player, man.
Big up to Captain Sal. We've got German fanboy in the building. Excellent. Let's get on to you. Jay Kismet actually saying that I'm fluent in German. So, wow, Ram, maybe you got someone to converse with, man.
I got to work on my German, bro.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You're a pretender, then, man. All right, say no more.
Okay, man. Okay.
Yeah. Anfield Road then saying, look, there's not many attacking midfielders who take shots from far at goal. Ballack, Gerrard, Lampard. He'd be a great asset. Daniel the Red guy does better than Berger. Daniel the Red saying if we get him, we need a defensive minded centre mid too, and a centre back as well. Probably won't though.
You could argue that Thuram could be that defensive minded centre mid.
Yeah. Remember, that's what we're talking about, Ram. I think that's what's going to happen with Thuram. You've read saying we will not be talking to a person's agent if we were not confident about getting him. Yeah, potentially. What else we got here, man? Mac FC saying, look, I'm sick of this transfer window. It's all bollocks,
I think.
Okay. Yeah. We ain't in for nobody unless they're 30 to 40 million. Jake isn't saying, do the stat thing, show some clarity. Yeah, we're going to do that. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. We've got RJ saying, Szoboszlai to Newcastle is likely. To us, no. We can't afford Kone, so we're not getting Szoboszlai.
Do you know what it is? I agree with this because from when we're struggling to activate Gabriel Viega's release clause, I have doubts this, but then it'll be so Liverpool to just the next day you wake up one morning, Liverpool have agreed a deal with Leipzig. And do you know what I think kind of in our favour? No, you two are going to laugh, but the fact my boy Carvalho is going the other way, that strengthens relations. They might be like, you know what, you're giving us a player, let's give you a player back kind of thing. So I think it's 50-50 at the moment. But if I'm sort of side, Newcastle probably looks more appealing. But at the end of the day, we are the bigger club. How much does that hold nowadays? Who knows? But we are the bigger club.
Yeah, one thing I want to say as well, when you're looking at like Kone, Viega, whoever else, right? I have the same like worries as well in terms of we're not triggering their release clauses, so there's a problem. But if they don't view Kone value for money at 60 million, it doesn't mean that they don't value a Szoboszlai at 70 million. Do you know what I mean? Because they might view him as, you know what? He's a better return on investment if we put down 70 million. Like I guarantee you, Liverpool would have went in for Bellingham if he was 70 million. Liverpool would have tried to get Bellingham for 70 million, 100%. Yeah. They just didn't value him at that price that he was put at. They said that's too much. Kone, they don't think he's a 70 million pound player. They feel he might be a 40 million pound player. With Szoboszlai, might be a bit different. So that's where prices can be, a bit different, man. Quantum Geek saying we have to put Bajcetic into the equation. He is a quality player, and Trent should be playing in midfield. We'll chop that up in a minute. Ed saying Roms is talking about an interview he did back in 2020. It would certainly be special experience to work under Klopp as it would be under Guardiola or Jose Mourinho.
Wow.
So that's what he said.
I thought it was last summer. I didn't know it was way back then.
I think just to add on that, big up Callum from Coppish, he also mentioned that Klopp, like halfway through his interview, stopped him and be like, yeah, you played a really good game. You're going to be a really good player when you get older. So that is something to bear in mind, that Klopp does like him, man.
Yeah, he definitely does, man. Restful Life saying, been waiting for 6 years to watch real source in midfield. Can't count. Thiago wasn't available enough for me. I agree. Birth of an MC. Big up to Birth of an MC saying, don't forget, it's still June, guys. Players still on holiday other than under 21 tournament. June is traditionally quiet. July, the main time, and into July, into August, I believe you meant. We've got Honest saying, question, looking at our transfer list and their profiles, do you think Klopp will play different type of tactics? Sometimes 4-3-3, 4-3-2-1, even a 3-4-3 because the Inacio links are heating up.
He better be. He better be.
I think he has to. He has to now. He already knows he shot himself in the foot last season by being stubborn. I'd like to think, you never know with Klopp, but I'd like to think he's not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah,
I'd like to think.
He's got no choice, man. The kind of players that we're getting, he's got no choice.
Yeah, I agree. Big up to KLFC. I just don't want to see 4-3-3 every week. That's what I don't want to see, man. Especially when it's not working. If it's working, play it. But when stuff is going wrong, I need to see
different variations of 4-3-3. I don't mind, but
yeah.
Cool. We're gonna get the stats up, man. We're gonna get the stats up. So, great time to obviously go and analyze and see what the man are saying. Let me remove that. Actually, cool. Can you guys see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Wait, 30. Ram, correct me if I'm wrong. There's only 34 league games.
34 games, yeah.
His availability was very good. Wait, he got injured in his first year, didn't he?
The first year he did. That's why I said, barring last season, his availability was a bit meh. But now, because of this season, I was like, yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Because what's it called? Leipzig played with all three of their attacking midfielders, and Nkunku, Olmo, and Szoboszlai for the most of their season. So they found a way.
Because Olmo and Nkunku rotated playing up front, innit? So
they did.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So as we're saying, man, played 31 games last season in obviously league that has 34 games. In terms of availability, looking quite good. Played 2,452 minutes. In that, 2,038 touches. So he's getting a lot of touches, man. A lot of touches of the ball. 151 ball recoveries. 6 goals in the league with 29 shots on target. He had 9 direct free kick shots. And obviously we know, if people are not aware, he's actually a very, very good free kick and penalty taker as well. So that's something to obviously add to the Arsenal. Passes attempted 1,400. Passes completed 1,162. We've got pass accuracy of 83%. Now, look, that's not the highest for a centre mid, especially at Liverpool. But when we get onto kind of, the amount of through balls and the amount of forward passing, then it will kind of even itself up. Successful long passes, 79. Successful crosses and corners, 47. His crossing accuracy, about 40%. And as we're saying here, 16 through balls attempted. That's more. I think McAllister had 10 last season in the whole league. So that's an upgrade on that. 335 forward passes, 379 backward passes, and 686 sideways passes. He had 54 take-ons. He won 39 fouls. That's a really, really good ratio. It means that every take-on, he's beating his man or he's winning a foul. Won 7 aerial duels. Ground duels, he won 138. He made 23 clearances and 17 interceptions.
Can I ask, JJ, could you get the percentages up as well if you could?
Yeah, I'll get that up now.
Because it'll probably give us a better understanding of
percentage of which one?
Duels contested or ground duels contested if they have that. Take on success as well, please.
Aerial duel success.
Yep.
Take on success.
And ground duels. I think it was that further down.
Yeah, ground duel success. Yeah, is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go have a look, man. So aerial duel success was in 28%. His ground duel success actually 53%. Wow. So it's actually quite good. And his take on success is almost 60% at 57.45. So very, very, very competent midfielder, man. Very
I'm
competent
trying
midfielder.
so hard not to smile right now. So hard not to smile.
Very
Don't
competent
stop.
midfielder. And at 22, Michael talking here. He's very, very experienced. Look, Hungary's captain at 22. Has played Champions League football, and it's funny. The reason why I'm more excited about him than any other player is that he's more experienced than any other player. Now, I understand McAllister's obviously played in a World Cup and Szoboszlai hasn't. But when it comes to club football, he's played Champions League from an earlier age because of Salzburg. He's also played Europa League because of Salzburg. And he's also played Champions League and high-level Bundesliga football for RB Leipzig. Compare that to Ram and Kone, they haven't really had that experience, and neither has McAllister. So when you're looking at ready-made product, he's probably the closest we've been linked to with a ready-made product, as there is, and of course there's Barella as well. But
you know what, Ram? Just before you go, just to add on to Michael's point as well, a game I did watch a full 90 on the international stage was against England. Remember when they beat England 1-0? I believe he even scored the penalty.
I was there. I was at the game.
Yeah.
I was at the game.
I remember you saying, Jay, the game. And from start to finish, he was just a problem. And that's a little indicator that was a pressured game because I believe Hungary needed to win that to qualify. Or I think that was their penultimate game. I can't really remember. But I know it was an important game not really for England, but for them. And he took the game by the scruff of his neck. I like that because that shows me he can thrive under pressure. Again, that's the only real game I've watched him play for Hungary. I'm not going to lie.
Roms, can I go one further? Can I go one further? Do you remember the Hungary against England where England got humbled 4-0?
Yes.
He was a massive component to that. Keeping a good solid shape, but also countering at the right times. And he was a big part of them absolutely smashing England. And just to add, JJ, on his experience that he's got so far, he made his debut in the 2017-18 season. So he must have made his debut at around about 16 years old.
That's crazy.
I mean, compare that to Ram, Kone. They're only emerging on the scene now. Like Szoboszlai has been a known player when he was actually moved to Leipzig. I remember Dortmund being in for him. Bayern was sniffing around. He wasn't like a unknown quantity. He obviously moved to Leipzig for career purposes, and obviously there's a link between Salzburg and Leipzig, which kind of makes sense. You look at the players that have succeeded going down that route as well. So yeah, massive points. And look, before we get back into the stats, Ram, chat to me, because you're telling me if he was to play for Liverpool, you're saying you're playing him on the right.
Right midfield, yeah.
Why on the right? I want to chop this up because I've got a different opinion, but I think it's important to go and obviously express why you play him on the right. So
from the way that we've been playing, our right centre midfielders are the likes of Elliott and Henderson. They've been always asked to play closer to the touchline than a traditional right centre midfielder. Also have their defensive roles as well. The reason why, and I'm going off the inverted fullback system that we play, the reason why I want Szoboszlai on that right hand side is because I feel as though Curtis Jones on that left, he's best suited on the left, and we've shown it last season. He was very good on that left hand side. The right-hand side, it won't be a completely alien position to him because he already plays on the right-hand side for Leipzig. And just the positions that Henderson picks up, whether it's outside the box, on the edge of the box, or inside the 18-yard area, I feel as though take Henderson out of it and put in Dominik Szoboszlai, it would be a complete upgrade on everything. His decision making, technical ability, it feels as though it's the best fit for us because our centre midfielders don't traditionally play as centre midfielders in that inverted system. And seeing as though he plays as an attacking midfielder on the right hand side, I feel as though it's a like for like replacement for Henderson, man, in my opinion.
Cool. Rom, have you got any opinions or?
I agree with Ram. And just to add on to that as well, we know he can play that right wing role. what have we been saying for years? Salah needs competition because let's be honest, Salah doesn't get injured. But let's say Salah has a dip in form because we don't have anyone that's at his level or even just decent on that right wing position. You can never really drop him. You just never can. Let's say Salah has a dip in form now, Szoboszlai has an option, and let's say we've already got a competent midfield three. He can sort in that right, even just to give Salah a rest. He can sort in that right wing role. So I do think this signing is actually better than we think because in modern day we have to be versatile anyway. But we've been screaming we need competition for Salah in that position, and I think he'll predominantly be a midfielder. But let's say Salah needs a rest or rotation, it'll be excellent to go on that right wing role because let's be honest, Harvey's not really cut it there as much, and I can't think of anyone. Ben Dope in and out the squad. I'm hearing he might have more of a say next season and might be with the first team a bit more. But I think Szoboszlai in that right position to compete with Salah, I think it'll be healthy, man. It will be very healthy. And just to add on to what Ram said, I think that right centre midfield role will be suited for him.
Yeah, I agree with the right wing spot. I disagree with Jam. I disagree with both of you guys, and I go off what Jamrock's saying. Jamrock and me are singing off the same hymn sheet. I know he plays. He's played. He doesn't play right mid. He's obviously played right wing more, and then obviously looking at it, and I know Jamrock said it somewhere, unless I've missed it. There we go. Here, big up to Jamrock saying, look, he mostly plays on the right hand side, but with Trent playing inverted, we might get filleted. And now for me, that's my problem. That even though we see Henderson in positions where sometimes he's asked to go and attack, sometimes he's asked to go and get beyond or make that decoy, and a lot of times he has to make the decoy run. He doesn't get the ball a lot of the time. If you look at the stats, he don't. In central areas, he does, but that's just to kind of recycle the ball. His off the ball runs are a lot of the time to make space for Trent, make space for Salah. I think Szoboszlai is too good to go and put into that role. We saw what happened when Elliott got asked to do that role. He was non-existent in certain games, and it looked like we're getting cooked down our right-hand side. We need someone there that's going to have legs and that's going to have cover. And if they haven't got the legs, they've got to have the ability to dictate the game from that position where we're not vulnerable on the counter. I look at that Jones position, and I agree. I think Jones proved he can, when he's on form, if he carries on the way he did on the back in the last team, we've got a player there, of course. Like, if you could just maintain that consistency. But if we're getting him in, I think those two are challenging for that spot off the left. And the reason being is that, A, this guy can shoot from distance and he's got a delivery on him. We just saw the stats in terms of the crossing. So he can cut inside and he can be lethal with that right foot. He then allows Robertson to overlap on him, which Robertson still does. And I know we will talk about needing another left-sided centre-back, but currently we don't have one. So if we had to just look at the team now, Robertson's role is still going to be, I'm going to bomb forward. And Fabinho and Trent are going to try, or Fabinho more, or whoever. We're going to obviously come across. At times it's going to be Van Dijk. At times whoever. We're going to do that kind of lopsided three at the back. But when Robertson goes and Luis Diaz or Nunes is further up the pitch, you need someone in that hole being able to get the ball and be equally as creative as a Salah sometimes when he drops deeper, or having that creative kind of midfielder. When I look at it, he's got the profile to go and do that. He's technically good. He's skillful. He can beat a man. He can cross. He can shoot from distance. And I wouldn't be surprised if Klopp says, yeah, you know what? I know you play on the right side of midfield for Leipzig, but that's because the right side's more attacking for our team. We need you on the left because the left side's a bit more attacking. That right side needs to be do a lot more running. And it was it used to be a bit more, I wouldn't say different, but the right side used to be able to have, like we had Ox there before, and he used to be a bit more adventurous, and we had obviously Wijnaldum on that left. Since we've put Jones on that left, I feel like if Klopp's going to stick with that formation, I think he goes, and I think they're very similar profile of players. I think they're very similar. I think if you looked at them, if they came through at the academy at the same time, they'd be fighting out for the same place. They both played in the number 10, can both play on the wing. I know Jones didn't really play on the right, but
they're the same age as well, JJ, isn't it?
Yeah, Jones might be a year older.
Jones might be a year older, but if Jones is a year older, for me, they're competing for that same spot because of their role in the team. Now, it's not to say that Szoboszlai isn't a right-sided midfielder right now. Maybe he is. But when you're coming into Liverpool, as proven with Gakpo, as proven with Darwin Núñez, whoever else that's coming to the team, you have to fit into what Liverpool are doing. Cavallo, you have to fit into Liverpool are doing. We're not going to go and create a formation for you unless you're Trent. Create a formation for you where you're optimized.
Yeah,
and I feel like Szoboszlai is going to have to adapt, and we've seen it. Gakpo's played obviously in that midfield role before. Maybe we'll see Szoboszlai there. But if everyone's fit, if we can get all our targets, like I can't see Thuram. If we're playing a midfield of Fabinho and then like a McAllister, where does Thuram fit in there? I think Thuram
He's going to be rotated.
Right. Yeah, maybe
he's not ready.
But I see Thuram more so on the right. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
But I'd ask you this, JJ. I wanna ask you a question right here. In terms of having whether it's going to work or not, or whether we're going to get cooked down that right hand side, there are certain games within the back end of last season, we had about 80 to 90% of the ball. So wouldn't it be more advisable to go with both Jones and Szoboszlai as the two roaming, forward-thinking midfielders, because we're just going to have the ball the entirety of the game?
You can only do that against the lesser side. We couldn't go to Etihad or...
No, I'm not asking going to Etihad and do that.
Oh, you mean like games that will dominate the...
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Like, for example, JJ, Brentford away. Brentford at home, sorry. We had about 85% of the ball. Those kind of situations where a team is not going to be bothered about going forward. They're just going to sit back and wait for anything to happen. With people like Jones and Szoboszlai, who I feel as though they could take care of the ball a lot more than Henderson. Now, if they're not, they're going to try and make something happen. I feel as though it would be a lot better, if you get what I mean.
I agree. I agree. That my worry is that in those games, look at the chances we conceded. Remember what Tony did? Ball comes out, ball just gets played up to the top. He goes and attacks that channel because that channel's free. There's no one covering him. He's on the byline. He's able to get the ball and first time do a back kill.
And then Bremer had at least
down that side.
And Bremer had at least two one-on-ones in I think the first half alone.
Yeah.
So,
and remember, in Bournemouth's chance came from that right-hand side because of Jones's advanced position. But we know that obviously our left-hand side is a bit more solid than the right, although that left-hand side was just getting tarnished as well. That right side was getting cooked. It was getting cooked. And I know Trent got on the ball a lot and it looked great, but we were still a problem there. Look, if Szoboszlai comes in and he can be just as good defensively as Hendo, then yeah, you play him. You play him on that right-hand side. Okay, it's like you can do everything at that point. But does our system allow our two midfielders to be so advanced? The reason why I say it doesn't is because our wide players come in.
Yeah,
it's not like City where our wide players cover out wide. So if they lose the ball, you see Grealish and stuff bombing back to go and win the ball back. When have we seen Salah or Luis Diaz do that when they're like one-on-one running back? A lot of the time it's our midfielders. So it's not really going to happen like that, in my opinion. I think we'd have to change the way we go and play. Like Trent, for me, Szoboszlai to work on the right-hand side, he's very much, he's more attacking-minded than Henderson. He's more attacking-minded than Wijnaldum. And at this point, if we looked at the stats, he's more attacking-minded than Jones even, right?
Yeah.
From the stats. So if you were to look at that, he's going to be much more, he's going to be a risky player, he's going to take more risks than the other players in the midfield. And if that's the case, we can't have that on the right-hand side where you've got a right back that takes risk and you've got a forward that's just got a free run because we know about the goals that he's, that he's scoring. That's the way I look at it. But I don't know.
That's something that Klopp needs to figure out. But the one thing, and I'll say this again and I'll repeat it, even though I'm the biggest Klopp fan, I know Roms and JJ know this. If we get this guy, I'm not going to make any excuses if Klopp doesn't come up with some different systems. Because we buying, say we get Thuram, McAllister and Szoboszlai all in the same window, yeah? That's three different type of midfielders that we've got. there has to be multiple systems. There can't be just that one system where everything's going to be working forward. Everything's going to be working because there's three completely different players. One defensive-minded midfielder that would like to carry the ball forward. Another one is a bit more of a dictator and likes to keep the ball a lot more. And another player is more of an attacking third kind of player that wants to try and create chances for our forward line or even get a goal for himself. I can't be dealing with the same boring old stuff when it comes to next season. And if we sign these three midfielders, that's the main worry that I've got coming into the next season.
It's as simple as this. If he is stubborn and stays in his ways, he's literally setting them up to fail. And it won't be on them. And this is where I even think a lot of the Klopp inners will realise, Klopp, you actually have to change something to cater for these three because you're spot on. It's three different profiles, which is what we need. You always want a variety. You don't want the same midfield as we've been suffering the last 5-6 summers. But I think you're spot on, Ram. You'll have to. And I think he knows. I think he generally knows that. One thing I will say, you know my thoughts on Klopp, but I do think last season would have hurt him. He's not used to it. And I do feel he will change something up. He would have to. But I think you're spot on with that. I was going to say to you, Ram, if we do, let's say we do get Szoboszlai, Thuram, and obviously we've got Matt. Let's say Ignacio as well, or Van der Ven. What would you rate that window out of 10? 9
out of 10. If we get Ignacio, 9 out of 10. If we get Van der Ven, 7.5, 8 out of 10, in my opinion. For me, I've seen a bit of Van der Ven, and to be honest, I am not convinced about the guy.
I'll be honest, I've read about him, I've seen a few comments, but I've not watched the 90 minutes of him. I'm not gonna act that I don't know much of him. I'm
not very convinced with him, man. I really am not convinced with him. But it's the case of we've got a left-sided centre back who's decent on the ball, in Ignacio. We've got Thuram, who, even though I'm not very keen on it, will be playing as a 6/8. And to be fair, he said it himself, he'd rather be the kind of player that wins the ball back and progresses the ball forward. And we've got a ball-playing midfielder. That means that Thiago can have a little bit more rest, and we can use him sparingly, especially in the big games. From all that we're saying, the one thing that I'd say will be missing is a backup right back. And
that's how I agree with you.
And literally, for me, it would be a 9 out of 10 window if we get those three kind of players. If it's a Ignacio or Schlotterbeck, 9 out of 10 window for me, man.
You know what? I remember you saying earlier, I would love Schlotterbeck as well. As much as I mentioned, very much Schlotterbeck, his ability on the ball, he literally plays like a midfielder. The elegance, he's so comfortable with it. I love midfielders, right, that can receive the ball in the half-time and under pressure. A lot of players will play it back safe. They're not confident with himself. He's the type to attract players, kind of getting out of that situation, and then would set off on the counter. Also, I want to touch on something you just said as well. You were saying, Thuram, that the 8/6. What do you think he's better suited to? Because from what I've seen, again, I think you've seen more than Thuram from me. For me, he is just a 6, but there's some fans that think he's more accustomed to being that 8.
The reason why I'm gonna say this again, I'm gonna really put my neck on the line. He reminds me a lot of like Patrick Vieira. He does the height.
He's got tendencies. I hear it. I do hear it.
Physicality. The reason why I say I prefer him more as an 8 than a 6 is the fact that he's so mobile and he's so technically good on the ball, and he just has that ability just to take the ball away from his opposition and just drive with it. And I kind of like that in a midfielder. If we limit him to just as a number 6, I'm like, even a lone 6 or someone next to Trent, I feel as though we're just gonna be losing a lot from his game. If we're saying 10 years down the line, 100% understand it, because obviously he'll be a lot older. He's got a lot more. His defensive IQ is a lot better, and he's obviously not as mobile. So that I understand, but at this moment in time, use that mobility that he has at the best possible time, man. And Jurgen, I'm going to quote what Klopp said. Yeah, He said to the journalist in an interview, being like, I can't find a 6'4" midfielder that can defend, that could pass, and that can be a goal threat. He could be that. He could be that. Just his sheer height alone makes him a threat within the opposition box. And his technical ability as well. Come on.
The only reason why I asked that, because the odd game I watched of Nice, maybe it was an instruction, but I know he can be that ball carrier kind of guy past opponents. He can, because I've seen it in compilations. But the 90 minutes I've watched him, which was about 3 games of 90 minutes last season, he was basically just cleaning up and spraying the ball. He was literally what you said. He was winning the ball back and kind of just popping off to the next midfielder. He wasn't doing the ball. I'm not saying he can't do that, because he can. That's why I only went off what I saw. That's why I asked you, is he more accustomed to being that 8 or 6? Because I saw him doing the 6 very well.
So it depends on when you watch that game, because when he was in his earlier years, he played as a 6, as in a double pivot, and he had a lot more defensive opportunity. But because Nice had sold a couple of their players, of their midfielders, and the fact that he's just better than all they have, he was asked to do more of that 8 role, taking the ball forward and doing what he can with the ball. That's why I say use that as much as you can, and then when it comes to his latter years, start transitioning to him like a number 6. But look, man, it's interesting because JJ and myself had the conversation about this. Yeah, Thuram, 6'4", Szoboszlai, 6'1", Inacio, I think 6'3", Schlotterbeck, 6'3". Those are
lovely.
Those are the kind of players that Klopp likes to have in his team. And JJ and I have had this conversation yesterday. I think JJ might give a proper insight into that, man.
Yeah. It was just talking about, and big up to Jammer. Actually, segues really nicely, saying, look, Mid got bodied last season. We need physicality, and that's what it is, man. Unfortunately, the way sports is with like sports science and stuff, ability can only take you so far unless you're Messi, innit? Like, ability can only take you so far. So I use this as an example, right? If Konate, had the ball playing ability of Henderson, but had his athleticism, he'd be a beast. You wouldn't be able to stop him. He'd be too fast. He'd be too strong. Technique will be decent. He'd be able to go and press. Like, it'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. And if you look at it and you look at what Man City are doing, look at the midfielders they're signing and the defenders. Akanji, Stones, Ake. They've got Rice, Rodri. You need power.
That could be a bit of everything. Yeah,
you need power and strength, because look, and Rice isn't the most technically gifted midfielder, but because of his size, the technique that he's got is really good. If that makes sense, it's really good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Lanzini's more technically gifted in him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the impact he's got in the game means that Lanzini can't get in the squad, and now he's leaving.
I apologize. Inacio isn't 6'3". Jamrock, you're right, 6'1", but he does look taller than he is.
Yeah.
But the Sporting Lisbon team is tiny.
Apparently, big up. Someone said it in the chat as well, but apparently Elliot scored a worldy solo goal in the under-21s.
When?
We're gonna have to have a
Just
look.
now. They're playing Germany, Rams, but it's a kind of a dead rubber because they top their group.
I'm just gonna say this. I told JJ this. Germany's young team is not good. Like if you're,
I heard a reporter saying the same thing. He was saying England are gonna. He probably will beat Germany comfortably. Saying our new crop of players aren't what we used to.
Yeah, but that's true. Like we've improved our youth academy overall in terms of England, but again, is Germany looks suspect. Their future looks very, very bad.
That's mad to say as well. To say Germany's future looks bad.
It looks really, really bad. It doesn't. I don't like. Look at the young players that they have right now. They're not good.
Do you know who I like? I don't know if he was German, man, but remember we were speaking during Dortmund's last game of the season. You know that right winger that came on? He was quite elusive. Dutch. I think he helped set up the goal.
He's either Dutch or Belgian. He's not German.
I just assumed he was German.
Nah. Like, other than even Mokoko, I don't really rate that highly. But you're seeing Schlotterbeck, decent. Musiala, baller, even though I still think he's English.
Adeyemi, Fitz, do you know what I mean? There's a few,
There's
but
a
they're
couple.
more first team now, innit?
Yeah, like they are. After that, we were talking about 16 to 18-year-olds. Compared to ours,
Yeah,
chalk
no,
and cheese,
yeah,
man.
we
Chalk
actually.
and cheese.
It's
We're
true.
so far ahead of them, in my
That's
opinion.
it, Duranville. Big up, Mark.
Yeah.
During the
I
round.
think he's Dutch or Belgian. I think
Must
one
be
of those
Dutch.
two.
If I see Duranville, it's Dutch.
Belgian. He's Belgian.
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 Oh, okay.
Well, Belgium, Dutch. I mean,
He's on that border, innit? Yeah.
You get me.
Did you not see? No, go on, JJ.
No, go on.
I was gonna say, did you not see the docu link again?
Yeah, the docu, we've seen it.
Oh,
At this
my
point, he might
God.
be a decent signing, man. He might
True.
maybe
Where does he play?
right wing.
I was
No
just about
way.
to say that,
No.
but it has to be for the right price, man. Because I've not really been hearing too much in the past. I think he was injured though for the majority of it, but
Yeah.
if
I don't want him on that right.
anything north of 20 mil, I'm not having it. I'm not gonna.
First.
Captain Sal's right. France is where all the talent is, man.
Yeah, facts. Big up to Captain Sal. That's facts. But cool, man. Before we head out, we might as well look at the stats and compare Szoboszlai with. Well, we might as well do Henderson because obviously I got beat into it. You guys are saying that.
If you want, we could do Barella as well.
I can't do 3. You know, I don't know why it doesn't allow me on this computer. I used to be able to go and do like 4 players. I can't do none now.
We could switch it up. We could switch it afterwards, innit? So.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna do it per 90. I think that's the best way to do it, man. Cool. So of course, he's played more games. Henderson's getting more touches of the ball. So as I spoke about, Dominik Szoboszlai playing more advanced. Henderson's making 7.1 ball recoveries to Szoboszlai's 5.6. Szoboszlai obviously more goals, so 0.3 goals per game with 1 shot on target, or 1.1 shots on target per game. Henderson's averaging 0.3. In terms of direct free kicks, is averaging 0.4. So Szoboszlai's actually having more free kick shots than Henderson's having shots on target in open play, which is crazy. We're seeing here more attempted passes by Henderson with 67.1 to 51.4. More passes completed by Henderson, comparison to Dominik Szoboszlai, 42.7 to 57.4. 2 seconds, I'm going to zoom out. Can you guys read out the stats? I just got to pick something up for work, yeah? 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
Roms, do you want to do it or should I do it?
What's the last one JJ said? I think pass. Let's just
Success. Yeah, just go for success, pass accuracy. I know he scrolled through past that. We'll go for successful crosses and corners.
Yeah, that's what. So Szoboszlai with 1.8, successful crosses and corners for Henderson is 0.7. One thing I will say about the stats above, Henderson's more pass completed or whatnot, I think that's kind of false because we've got more of the ball. From what I've seen, we have more of the ball. So Hendo will, before everyone's like, oh, he's not as good as Hendo, that would be normal because we're a better ball possession team than them.
And don't forget Henderson's role at the start of the season compared to what it was at the end of the season is completely different.
Completely different, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Crossing accuracy for Szoboszlai 40%, Henderson 33%, but that's not really a shocker. How many times have you seen Hendo do the first time delivery or whatnot? Through balls attempted, we already know. Szoboszlai is more of an attacking-minded player. And you know what? I don't mind that stat because I think you'll agree, Ram. You want your creative players to lose the ball because you know that they're trying, they're attempting passes.
Absolutely,
we
man.
can't scroll any further down, but forward passes.
I'd say this.
Surprising. Hendo's got a bit more.
Think about it though. Like Henderson at the start of the season was playing more as a centre midfielder compared to Szoboszlai as more of a right-sided winger / 10. So obviously, there's no one really to pass to if you're in like at the edge of the area and there's centre backs all around you. Like it's one of them ones. So I'm not surprised by that. But to be honest though, it's not much of a difference. I mean, it's a difference, but it's not as big as I thought it would be. Comparing a guy that would see the ball at the final third than a guy sees at the middle of the pitch.
I think you're spot on though, because remember when Nkunku got his long-term injury? I believe it was about 3 months. Like you said, start of the season, Szoboszlai was in the forward line, and like you said, there's no one really to pass to. But I do feel, let's say that graphic was from January onwards, I think you would see Szoboszlai with more forward passes than Henderson. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously his role changed. But I think backward passes
It's
Szoboszlai
14,
14, Hendo 13.8.
which is worrying though for Henderson. Like I get it for an attacking midfielder when you have no one to pass to, you have no other choice but to pass it back. But for a guy that gets the ball in the middle of the field and has so many people to aim at, and you pass it back was more or less the same amount as Dominik Szoboszlai,
It's great.
it is a bit worrying. Like, you know, it's the fact that you tend not to do much with the ball. You just give it off and let hope that someone else does the job for you, where it just makes it more easier to get penetrated because the opposition will be like, well, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna give it to Trent, or you're gonna give it to Thiago, you're gonna give it to Fabinho, you're not gonna do anything with it. So I'm just gonna try and cut that passing lane off. And then who does he pass to?
Yeah.
He passes it back to what's it called? Kanate. Or even as Alexander says it right there. Oh yeah, even Alisson. But even as Alexander says, thinking about having counter-attack opportunities, you could just start it off with one single ball, and sooner or later everything goes.
You saw Onana doing it. I remember he played a magnificent pass in the Champions League final that took out about 4 City players, and then Martinez just was being Lautaro Martinez. But literally, one ball can literally start off that counter.
Where are we at the moment?
Passes.
Sorry, backwards, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. So more backwards passes, sideways passes. Obviously, 25.2 to obviously Henderson. So as we're seeing, the roles are so different from both midfielders. And I know they both play on the right hand side, but we can see Henderson's role is much more about, you know, he's playing more forward passes, say for playing in a deeper role. And then he's also playing more sideways passes because he's trying to keep the ball as opposed to being like more risky. We're looking here in terms of take-ons completed. This is really obviously promising. 2 take-ons from Dominik Szoboszlai in comparison to Henderson, 0.6. And they're saying take-on success. Of course, he's got 60% for Henderson at 57.45 for Szoboszlai. But Szoboszlai is actually he's completing more take-ons per game.
The more it has, the lower the percentage. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's still impressive to have 2 to 0.6. And have more or less 60%. That's a really, really good percentage to have. He's winning more fouls, so he's winning 1.5 fouls per game, 0.4 for Jordan Henderson.
You know what?
Aerial duels is similar as well. Go on.
I think if we sign, look, I'm getting ahead of myself already, but if we sign him, I think he's going to be in the metrics. You know, at the end of most seasons, you'll have your Zaha, you'll have your Grealish, fouls won. I think if we sign Szoboszlai, he'll be in the. I can see us winning us a lot of fouls next season if we.
A couple of stats is really making me grin a lot.
Yeah.
If
You're so German, man. You're so flipping German. Jesus, man. So look, aerial duels 0.3 to 0.5. I'm just gonna blast through this kind of Ram is. I mean, the lotion's out at the moment, man. Aerial duel success, we got 28% to 52.38. So that's another thing as well. We criticize obviously Elliott for not winning any headers in midfield. Szoboszlai ain't that great, to be fair. 28%, that's shocking in my opinion.
For his height, it should be a lot better.
Yeah, that's true.
But then here, ground duels won. Now this is what Klopp loves, man. A ground duel, a press. 5.1 for Dominik Szoboszlai. 2.3 for Henderson. His ground duel success is 53.08% in comparison to 48.18% for Henderson.
Jerry,
that's a massive jump.
I'm gonna be a bit of a piss take here, yeah. Could you get the ground duels contested as well, please? Get a better idea of it.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's not a problem at all, man. Duels contested. Let's see, ground duels contested. We'll go there. So as we're seeing here,
Holy shit!
Oh my God.
So he's contesting 9.6
Double.
That's
ground
double.
rules.
Holy shit!
Henderson's 4.8, and this is our best presser in midfield, right?
That's crazy.
Oh my God!
Wow. Ground
Yeah,
duels 5.1. Clearances 0.9 to 0.6, and interception 0.7 to 1, which is
And
a
now you're
similar
happy
rate.
I got the ground rules contested now.
Well, bro, I mean, I'm gonna zoom in on this one, man, so people can see this. There we go.
I'm gonna take a
crazy.
picture of this. Hang on, I want to take a picture of this. This is mad. That's actually mad. Like you're talking about our best presser in the
And
entire
Ram.
team, and it's double.
And like we were just saying, Ram, this is a Szoboszlai that's not even been in midfield all year. The start of the season, he would have been in that front line. Obviously, once Nkunku got injured, he then shifted back into the midfield. But he's got these stats playing the same position as Hendo, but only for half the season. That's crazy.
And don't forget, Hendo's played, I think, 5 or 6 more games than him, if I'm not mistaken, JJ.
Yeah. So Henderson's played 36 games to 30 games. So 6 games. 6 games more.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Quickly on Hendo, because I've not chopped it up with these two in a while, but
4 games more, actually. But
Yeah.
But next season, because we all know he's probably going to have that Milner role, but do you even want him to have that Milner? I know experience, he's been our captain, or do you just want him gone? I'm interested to know what you do quickly on Hendo.
Hooferson, you know.
Man said Hooferson and Loserson. Shit.
That sounds sweet.
The semi-final compilation came up on Twitter the other day against Croatia.
Oh my days, pain.
Bro, it is actually hell. It's actually hell. But yeah, I'm just interested to know, would you two want him as that Milner role still for his experience and leadership, or do you just want him gone now? Because me personally,
I don't know about you, JJ, but I prefer not to speak.
Your answer's man.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
You know what it is?
Your answer's man.
There's other players in the squad. I don't want to name names, who annoy me more. The reason being is because I know what he is, so I don't get frustrated. I just know what type of player.
Yeah. And then there's other players you expect more.
There's other players. Thiago, Spanish. Like, do you know what I mean? That I'm more annoyed about, and I'm more in that bracket. Just get out, man. You're a fraud. Get out. Like, he's not a fraud. Everyone knew what he was.
I hear you.
So, JJ, can I ask one more thing?
Yeah, go on.
Can you get the area which was contested as well, please?
Yeah.
You just want to embarrass Hendo. That's what you want to do.
I know how much. I think he's got a higher contested, but if it's like, say, he's only had, it's basically the
level.
Same. It's basically the same. So, yeah, okay, fine. But I'm still baffled about. I'm not baffled about the fact that it's double Henderson. I'm baffled at the fact it's that high. Yeah. I didn't expect him to be that high.
Leipzig pressed, though, innit? Leipzig pressed.
Bro, they press like balls, bro. That's what they're called. They're rotten ball, man. You get me?
That's what it is, man. Ravi saying, Jerry, stats might be well and good, but on the eye test, is this guy good enough?
I think so.
Come on. Ravi, look at the compilations and then tell me. Have a watch the compilations and then tell me. If you're telling me you're happy with Thuram, Kone, then yeah. This is, for me, is a step above. So
I'd go as far as saying, if we sign him, and it's not hard, but he's probably our most creative player. Probably
in the midfield, yeah.
Yeah, in the midfield, probably.
No, but even if you played up front, wouldn't you say he would be the creator if you played up front? You wouldn't be the finisher.
Cody Gakpo.
I don't think Gakpo's more creative.
You know what?
I think
he's slyly. I think
Szoboszlai's that good. He can even play that false nine role.
Oh, he could. 100% he could.
And I think Szoboszlai's just a more creative player. Gakpo's
yeah, that's what I was saying. Just in general,
and played on the wing.
The way you man looking, I want this guy now. I want this guy.
Yeah, look at him. The lotion's at people. Do you know what I mean? Let's just end the stream, man.
Bro, just get
Have you got your incognito browser open, Ram? Is that ready and sorted?
Okay, let's not go too far now. Let's not go too far now.
German, yeah? Categories mad. Oh my God.
Can I have one more request, please?
Yeah, you can. What category do you want now, man?
Can we compare the stats to Barella, please?
Yeah, we can do, before we head out.
Even if it's close, yeah. All right, K-Max right here, man. Forget it. Forget Kimmich, man. Just give me Szoboszlai. I'm happy, man. I'll be happy.
Wow. Man turned Hungarian,
I'm dead.
Where's the loyalty at?
Man, Budapest is a nice place to go, man. Just saying.
I hear you.
I've heard it's actually lovely.
So let's have a look, man. Ignore obviously the games played. He played more games. Szoboszlai has more touches on the ball, slightly more ball recoveries, goals per 90, very similar. He's having less shots on target though, less obviously free kicks, more passes attempted, more passes completed, a better pass accuracy, slightly less long successful long passes. Szoboszlai has obviously got better, more successful crosses and corners. His crossing accuracy is 40% to Barella's 25, 0.6 through balls to 0.3 for Barella, 12.3 forward passes to 16.5 forward passes. Again, playing in different positions. I think Barella plays a bit deeper. So more backward passes, obviously, for Dominik Szoboszlai as a result, but essentially 10 backward passes for Barella per 90, 25.2 sideways passes to 25.4, so really similar there. Duels contested, 10.5 to Nicola Barella's 9.6. Take-ons, 2 take-ons to 1.5. The take-on success is 70% for Nicola Barella. He's winning 0.1 more fouls, so very similar. Contesting more duels, again playing in a deeper role. Winning 0.7 aerial duels, but obviously contesting more. His success is 28% for Szoboszlai, 57.14 for Barella. Ground duels contested 9.6.
The same
for Szoboszlai, 8.4 for Barella. It's 4.7 for Barella in comparison to Szoboszlai's 5.1. His ground duel success, they're very similar, 53.08 and 55.33. And then Szoboszlai wins on clearances and interceptions, with Nicola Barella averaging half clearance and half an interception per 90.
Similar.
Very
man. Similar.
Obviously, Szoboszlai plays further forward, so
that's more. You could say that's more of a testament that he plays further forward and he's still holding his own in them stats.
Keeps the ball well. Keeps the ball well as well.
I didn't know he was that young. Wait, 22? Sort of sad.
He's 22.
I thought he was about 25 by now.
No,
just because we've been hearing his name for so long.
He's been around for time. He's been around for a very long time. He's made his debut in 2017, Roms, man. He's been around for a very, very, very long time.
So you're telling me he's been on the scene. He's been about from when basically Trent and Robin made their name at our club. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's been
about. That's crazy.
He's been about. Big up to K-Mac with the stats. K-Mac saying that he's 23 and the captain for Hungary national team. He's played 34 times too, and he got them to the World Cup.
Yeah, he did. 2018 World Cup. I think.
So, boy, just going to get into some of the stats see before we head out. But look, hold on. I'm getting a nosebleed right now, man. I don't know if this person's excited, but...
That video kills
What you man telling me though?
Big up, G, man.
Just quickly chatting Szoboszlai, man, before we're about to head out, man. Look, before I get into the comments, chat to me about, just give me a summary, man. How you feeling about the links, the player, someone that excites you? Is he on the same level as Thuram and Kone, or is this like would this be a statement if Liverpool sign him?
Statement, I don't know, man. Statement is a strong one. Is he better than Thuram and thing? Obviously, they kind of do different stuff. But I like Szoboszlai. You know, I mean, I've watched him for years. I think he's a dope baller. Thuram and that, they don't excite me, so I'm not bothered about them. Whereas with him, maybe because I've just watched him longer, maybe that's just what it is. But I feel like he's someone who comes into the team, and his qualities, you know, what I mean, his skill set. He's a baller, man. He's a baller. But in terms of being excited, this is probably one of those signings where you're like, okay, now I see what you're doing, Liverpool. All right, say no more. It's one of them kind of signings. As Rom has alluded to when we spoke in the group earlier on, technical players, Liverpool, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could be a little bit techie, like, so that's where I'm skeptical about him coming to the team and stuff. But him himself, he's a baller, man. He's a baller still.
Did you see the stats for him?
I've only just seen this last little bit, so I saw you guys comparing a little bit.
Let me get up.
I saw Jordan Henderson on the screen. I was buffing up.
I've seen the stats for Jordan.
I'm just waiting to embarrass.
I didn't. I just jumped on as soon as I saw that you guys were still streaming. I was like, "Yo, let me come in quick."
Cool.
Are they that bad, or is it a good? Like,
Bro,
it's funny, isn't it? It's just funny. Let me show it now.
You'll be surprised because I was shocked.
We saying what, Jordan Henderson start next season, or?
Yeah, he might have to start still. Start on bid duty, bro. Start on bid duty because it's obviously here. You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, touches, Henderson wins, ball recoveries, he's better in. Obviously, more goals from that perspective. Passes attempted, Henderson's winning that. Stuff. The crosses are much better for, obviously, Dominik Szoboszlai, 40% accuracy to 33.3. More forward passes from Henderson, again, playing a deeper role. So when we're talking about Dominik Szoboszlai playing down that right-hand side, I know we feel Henderson's in position sometimes to cross the ball, but it's not as often as we think. A lot of the time, he's much deeper, playing way more sideways passes, way more forward passes, and you can only do that. The deeper you are on the pitch, the more likely you're going to play a forward pass. He plays much more advanced, Szoboszlai, so that's where it's going to be a problem. But this is where it gets tricky, right? So duels contested. He's contesting 10.5 to Henderson's 5.7.
That's mad. I didn't ever think that.
He's taken on man twice a game, and Henderson's obviously taken on man 0.6. He's taken a success. Obviously, Henderson's is higher, but it's essentially the same. And he's taken on 2 people per game, so that's a mad stat in itself. He's winning 1.5 fouls a game in comparison to Henderson 0.4. Contesting 1 aerial duel each per game. That's obviously quite a weak side of his game. But ground duels contested 9.6 to Henderson.
Brother.
Ground duels 5.11 to Henderson's 2.3. Ground duel success 53.08 to Henderson's 48%, and obviously 0.9 clearances to 0.6 and 0.7 into.
Bro, even the clearances, that's a madness. Like, how are you getting more clearances than Hendo? These times you're in a higher position. That's kind of mad. I can't lie.
It's scary.
He's basically just shooting and missing. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, just shoot, bro. He's moving like Steph right now. The ball just shoot, bro.
Wait, I would have thought Henderson. You know what? Listen, this is why we need.
Yeah, man, much appreciated, man. Jamrock as well earlier. You're going.
Nah, I was gonna, bro. Yeah, well, this is why we need the upgrade. Obviously, of Jordan Henderson kind of thing. Some of those facts are kind of interesting, though. I feel like we get onto Henderson quite. I feel like the fan base gets onto Henderson quite a lot, but then I'll be lying if he hasn't had games where I thought, right, he was actually the best midfielder we had, like in that game. So
Henderson at his best for me is when when he comes on, and I think was it against AC Milan when he came on and he just saw the game out.
Yeah.
Henderson's at his best. So when Henderson's obviously there's two parts of it. When he can go and he's on it and he's pressing and every press is working and the team's clicking, he's good. When he's got to go and keep the ball and stuff, you can see even for England, there's a reason why he goes and plays certain games, because when he comes on into games for England, because when they need to see out a game, they know he can do that. He's not going to be risky. He's going to keep the ball. His IQ's high in that regard.
No, you're right. No, facts. But yeah, no, I think Szoboszlai would be a good signing, bro. To be honest, bro, we're starved. You got to realize, bro, like we're out here being linked with just nothing really. So when someone like Szoboszlai comes on the market, people gonna start getting excited. I can't even front. We ain't in with the Declan Rices and the Caicedos and them, man.
Ravi's saying, Jerry, you never said if he's good enough for Liverpool. I'm saying I'm excited about the signing. I'm telling you, like, yes, he's good enough. Like Ward-Prowse is good enough for Liverpool at this point.
Nah, fuck him.
No, but
get Szoboszlai instead.
Yeah, I know. Just get Szoboszlai instead. But I'm just letting you know, like, I mean, anyone at this point is good enough for Liverpool. Like anyone. We were linked with Souček last year. Don't you remember, people?
Nah, we were not.
We were.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Do you man think, yeah, the reason why we're getting like people getting over the top with like any player that gets linked is because our midfield is so shit. So any player that gets linked, automatically we're like, no. As Jerry literally just said there, like, bro, get James Watt. Like, it's that though. Don't you think that, like,
I've been guilty of it many times myself. It's like, yeah, it'll be sick for us, bro, and actually deep. No, forget for us. Is he actually a good player?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
we do, right? But it's only the names that are like unknown entities. So if we got linked with like Ricardo, Cemento or someone like that, yeah. Some mad brother from
the South American,
South American that plays for like Chievo in Italy, and he's running around and the stats look great. Man are going to get excited over him. But we won't get excited over Ward-Prowse because he's an unknown entity. Yeah, Ward-Prowse is probably the better player. Viega and stuff. Ward-Prowse is the better player right now. If you want to win right now, you go and get Ward-Prowse, not Viega.
Yeah, no, I hear it.
You do. But people aren't going to like that because it's not fashionable. So I think for me, it's a bit of both, man.
I was always excited.
K-Mac, appreciate the super chat. Much appreciate as always.
Big up, man. Big up.
Member of the channel and the show, saying great show as always. Dom is a cheat mode, whatever. You're right, man. Facts.
Man, that's takeover, bro. You get what I mean, bro.
Ravi, I just answered. Jerry, is the player good enough for Liverpool? Yes. No, I'm saying yes. He's good enough. Good enough, man. He's definitely good enough.
But like I said it before. I like the guy because of his technical ability and what he can do in the final third. Seeing them ground duels though, brother, get his ass to Anfield, man. Get it now.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, look how, because we compared it. I'm not saying don't. Obviously, I want him at the club. But do you get what I'm saying? Because man, compare it to Hendo, I could find you easily 10 men who are worse than Szoboszlai, who have way better ground duels than Jordan Henderson. But you wouldn't want them, man.
But that's true. But I never attributed ground duels with Szoboszlai. But seeing that, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with me, Szoboszlai as well, I think when I talk about statement signing, the reason why I think it would be for Liverpool is because if we were to go and splash this reported 70 million euro release, if we were to go and splash that, it is a statement because he's coming in as you're one of the main. And look, if Newcastle went and signed Szoboszlai, we'd be talking about that like a statement signing. So for Liverpool, I know it's not Pedri or Gavi or flipping Modric that's coming into the club, but for Liverpool, it's a statement signing. It's like, all right, Liverpool aren't playing around anymore. We weren't linked with him before, but it seems as though Arsenal doing bids, Newcastle doing bids, and Chelsea doing these deals. Maybe FSG and Liverpool are like, we need to do something now because it's getting a bit sticky. Like, we tried to go our usual route. Schmatke came in, he sold us this web of lies talking about, I'm going to get you these new deals. The deals aren't coming through. You're waiting for the deals to come through, and you're like, rah, what's going on, Schmatke? You were supposed to be on the Schmack thing, and it just never happened.
Schmatke just needs to get schmacked.
Yeah, real talk.
You know what it is, yeah? The reason why, the more I think of this offside deal, the reason why I'm getting more confidence, because like I said earlier in the stream, I think you would agree, G, right now, if you're a professional and you're trying to come to a Premier, you hear Liverpool and Newcastle interested in you. Yes, we're the bigger club, more history, all of that, blah, blah, blah. But Newcastle looks like the more attractive proposition right now. You'll get paid more. They're in Champions League, albeit a player might think, is that going to be a consistent thing? Because let's be honest, the last 5-6 years, we have qualified every year, bar this one. And he might be looking at is this just a one-time thing for Newcastle? Which we know it's not, but some players might think different. And I think the Carvalho deal helps. That always helps in relations when you give a player, sometimes getting a player back from the same club. But what does give me confidence as well, Newcastle have been linked to this guy for, let's say, concrete interest for the last 2 weeks now. They've got the money. Tonali's pretty much over the line. I think they're going to announce it sometime next week. For me, the way Newcastle are moving proactive, I feel like it would have been done already. There still is time. There still is. But I just feel like I'm growing a bit more confidence because I feel like the fact that's kind of stalled, or maybe they're waiting for Tonali, I do feel it would have just been done already. And this is why I'm thinking maybe he is holding out for us. And K-Mac just said something which I didn't know. For me, it's a bit weird, but apparently he's got a Gerrard tattoo. Is there any truth in that? But
I don't know. That I don't know.
Hear what I'm saying, though. You see all of this stuff, yeah. But, maybe he does. Maybe he's like Torres. I remember Torres had the, what did he have? You'll never walk
he had an
alone.
armband, I think.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he had that too. I get it, but Vardio said Liverpool is his favorite club. These times he's about to join Manchester City. So it's like, I'm not like all of that stuff. I don't even like. If he's got a Gerrard tattoo, that's weird. Why have you got a tattoo of the next man in your body? So that's another question to even. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't want. Maybe I
knew this guy was gonna bring it
If I
up.
had an R9 tattoo, you're laughing at me. Is that what you're saying?
Say that again.
If I had an R9 tattoo, am I laughing at me?
I'm definitely looking at you thinking, why have you got a next man on your body? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Because
Do you though?
So man that
Bro,
got
it's
like
2022,
and Martin Luther King on their back. You know, I know you know a couple man from the ends that have Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and I'm looking at them like, right, so you got a next man that you don't know on your back, on your arm. Yeah, all right, cool. What's wrong with just putting his message on there? Why did you just put his face on it? That's weird. That's crazy. But again, 2022, all inclusive.
It's just MLK on the tattoo, just the MLK. That's it.
Bro, why don't you get Tina tatted across your chest, bro? Like, it's the same thing. Like, why would you bother getting the next thing just slapped across your body? But again, like I said, do what you're doing. I'm not here to judge you, bro. I'm just here to watch you. That's it.
Do you know one thing I'll say though, and I'm guilty of this as well?
What, having a tattoo on your body?
No. Never.
She said you're on the chest, bro.
No, you know who that is. That's not me. But we need. I see big up Tonk. I see Tom Little saying as well. There is a long time left of this winter. I know we want the signings in now, ideally before pre-season, integrate with the team, etc. But this doesn't shut till the 3rd of September. So I feel a lot of us fans that are, oh no, we've not signed this and that player, including myself. We just need to calm down a bit because I think, remember when I asked you where you think we'll finish separately outside the stream, and you were like, it'll be so Liverpool just to do something mad. Even with our past transfer windows, how many times all of a sudden we wake up and we've agreed a deal with a player? We are very sporadic in that sense. So I do feel like we need to chill out a bit. I know we want the signings in, but let's just be patient. If it gets to about mid-July or maybe end of July and we still don't have targets over there, and that's when I think the panic has to start kicking in. But then again, on the flip side, I get it, because last season, panic buying Arthur in the last day of the season. Maybe our fans just forget this now. We're impatient. We just need these signings now. So
I hear them saying Darwin Núñez was a panic buy as well. That's what I'm hearing.
That one hurts, man. That one hurts.
Remember, we got PTSD, you know, like with transfer windows. Like we've been shagged bare times, bro. Like bare times we thought, yo, next season we're gonna sign, and then you're seeing Declan Rice go to Arsenal. So you're like, all right. Then you see Caicedo link day, like, all right, cool. And then you see Tonali go here. You see play Basut. Like you're seeing bare players. So on the one side, Roms is 100% right. We do need to just chill out a little piece. Like there's bare time blatantly left to go. But then on the flip side, I'm like, all right, cool. But obviously the man have already gone into the party. So there's only a couple people left that I can go in with. So really, truly, let me know, because the door's starting to close soon. You know what I mean? The bouncer's getting a bit little etchy.
You're there like this year. Yo, where you at, bro?
Yeah, bro.
With that ticket, bro.
Like, bro, it's getting a bit peak now. Like, I need to know. Like, are you coming? Like, are you close? Because the door's gonna close. I can only go in with one other man.
There's bad things. Gee, there's bad things about brother. Are you coming or not, bruv? Like, I ain't got the ticket,
Bro.
Where are you? Where are you? Like 10 minutes. Say no more. Say no more. These times you haven't even left your yard yet. You're arguing with your mum.
This is what I'm saying, bro. I know too many men who haven't even left their fucking yard. I'm like, bro, what one, man?
I'm
not gonna
seen
lie,
that
yeah.
situation happen too many times.
I'm not gonna lie.
Stop beefing your boys for no reason, bro.
I am one of the man them that does that bullshit. That is my
bro. You know what? Now, as I'm
bro?
older now, I'm leaving you, bro. As in, if I go in and you can't, that's up to you now. I'm saying you got to find your own finesse to get inside.
Do you know what the worst thing is, G? Yeah, I'm normally the one with the tickets, and I'm the one that's coming.
And that's the piss take. Why is the brother with the ticket the one who's taking the longest? I'm like, bro, like I need you here first. Like you need to be waiting for everyone, not us waiting for you. Doesn't even make sense. But I feel like that's what Liverpool are like now. It's like, listen, we all want the names, of course. Like, and what I don't like from people online, and just I've heard some content creators like speak about this, like, just because we're not signing certain names, and I hear it. Like there are certain names that might not be as good as people think, but at the end of the day, most of the names that I'm hearing, they're not shit players. Like some of these guys who are going to these clubs, they're dope ballers. And if you're being linked with bare under 21s, I'm looking at it thinking, so why am I signing all these like youths, but these men are signing the real gun killers? Like that's not going to leave many players left.
But I think, like, for me, I'm looking at Dominik Szoboszlai, and I'm like, I know he's 22. But this brother's an experienced 22-year-old. You know, we're talking about brothers that have played games, like playing first team football at 16. Like this isn't new to it. I think you're not trying to go and get Keepin that are just emerging now, and they're only trying.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro.
I think the anger.
Szoboszlai was never going to play under 21 football. Like by the time he was 21, man's captain already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I think the most frustrating thing as well, and it happened last summer a lot, when you hear a player that's better than what we already have in the midfield going to another team for a sum that's very feasible to us and that fits in our remit. That's the most frustrating. You saw it last season with two names off the top of my head: the Basumas, the Nunez's, Mateus Nunes. They both went to Tottenham and Wolves for both, I think, under 40 mil. That's the most frustrating thing. That as fans, we know will improve us, that are feasible, that FSG would actually pay, and we don't go in for them.
Nah, 100%, man. 100%, man. 100%.
Just a couple last comments before we head out, man. Big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing the like as always. We got King Cop here saying a bit off topic, but what do you guys know about the 18-year-old Turkish guy? I think it's Arda. Arda Gula. Huh?
Gula.
Yeah, Gula. That's it.
Yeah.
Turkish guy we were linked with. And is there any other strong links that get you guys hot and bothered? I'm going to check someone at G, man, because G's obviously the guy when it comes to this.
Yeah, man. He's
first and foremost, I'm not getting hot and bothered over any players like that. Anyways, you know what I'm saying?
Why do you take it like that, bro?
Because I need people to understand before I speak, otherwise things get taken out of context. He's a good player, man. He's a good player, but I don't think he would come to Liverpool like that. I feel like Arsenal apparently were interested in him as well. I don't think he would come to a club like Liverpool anyway. Like the development isn't really there for you in terms of the pathway for young players. Teams already in kind of, wishy-washy, and he's got all the top clubs in the world looking at him. I feel like Liverpool would down. You know what I'm saying? Like Liverpool would kind of far down that list of clubs that you look to join. So,
you know what's crazy about that? Go on, man.
Yeah,
he smells like Barca. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've not watched this player at all, not even watched the comp, but I feel like an indication of a good player is who's linked with him. I saw today alone, I'm seeing Barca and Real Madrid have inquired about him. That's the pinnacle of football right there. That have inquired. So he must be something.
You know where he should go? He should go some German club, innit?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, of course.
Next.
Last
Probably a Dortmund.
Last comment before we head out, we've got Jamrock saying, wait a minute, Jerry. I know you ain't comparing Szoboszlai playing for Hungary senior team versus Thuram and Kone. No, I'm playing for the fact that Szoboszlai at 17, 18, 19 was being touted at going to Dortmund. Bayern were interested in him, and he decided to go to Leipzig after being at Salzburg. If Szoboszlai was playing for France, I think there's more of a chance of him playing for the first team than there is of Thuram and Kone. I just think there is. He's more experienced as a player. So
Don't forget.
I don't think Kone would be captain of Hungary if he was Hungarian. Like, I'm just not seeing that.
But don't forget.
He's further in development.
Think of the history of Hungarian football. The brothers that they had. The brothers that
they've had some technical ballers. Fuck, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
He has to hold that weight on his shoulders.
But that's not to say that playing for France isn't more difficult. I'm not saying that getting into the first team for France is even more difficult. But Szoboszlai is ahead in his development in comparison to Thuram and Kone. Like,
100%.
He helped Hungary reach, I think, the World Cup, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, or even
weren't he playing when they slapped England the other day?
He did.
Man, like, he's a baller, man. Jerry said it there, man. He's further in his development. Like, he's 22-year-old, that experience. You have to grab them, man. Still.
But look, people, big up to everyone. We've been live for about an hour and a half now. Thank you to obviously G that came in late. We got Rom and Ram in the building. Massive thank you. Of course, big up to everyone that's obviously watching this now and has smashed a like. If you haven't, please do so. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell because you're going to be alerted to any time we're dropping that hot fire content. Well, until next time, people, look, if there's any update tonight, if Szoboszlai ends up signing for Liverpool, we might be back live, so you never know. That's why I'm saying hit the notification bell. And obviously, if you're watching this on a repeat, let us know in the comments. What do you think of obviously this signing? Do you think Szoboszlai is the guy? If he isn't, let us know why. If you think he is, where do you think? What position do you think he played? Is he come in to help out the forward line? Is he more of a midfield option? Let us know, man. But until next time, it's been the J James Show, and we're out, people.